Survivalists, if you've ever wondered how people managed to feed themselves during the harshest years of World War II, you're about to uncover secrets that have been buried in dusty manuals and old farm journals. These aren't your typical gardening tips. These are time-tested, battle-hardened farming techniques designed for scarcity, resilience, and maximum yield from the barest of resources. In today's world, understanding these forgotten methods could mean the difference between scraping by and thriving when modern systems fail. Let's dive in and explore the farming tricks that will elevate your survival game. Learn how crop rotation saved communities from starvation. During World War II, European and American farmers faced severe shortages of fertilizers and healthy soil. One of the most crucial techniques that emerged was rigorous crop rotation. Instead of planting the same crop year after year, farmers rotated legumes like peas and beans with grains such as wheat or barley. This simple switch replenished nitrogen in the soil naturally, reduced pests, and prevented disease outbreaks that could wipe out entire fields. For survivalists today, the takeaway is simple. If you have a garden or small plot, plan a rotation cycle. A practical example would be dividing a 100-square-foot garden into 4 sections. In year 1, plant beans in section 1, wheat in section 2, potatoes in section 3, and leave section 4 fallow. The next year, rotate them clockwise. This strategy keeps your soil fertile without relying on chemical inputs, and it dramatically increases your long-term food security. Use wartime composting methods to turn waste into survival gold. Food and yard waste were precious commodities during the war, and clever farmers turned scraps into a lifeline for their crops. World War II-era composting relied on layering green and brown materials, but with a twist. Farmers often added small amounts of ash from wood stoves or burnt straw, which acted as a natural pesticide and soil conditioner. For today's survivalists, this means every peel, cuttings and leftover meal can become part of a nutrient-rich compost heap. Begin by digging a trench about a foot deep and layering 2 parts kitchen scraps to 1 part dried leaves or straw. Every few weeks, sprinkle a handful of wood ash and turn the mixture. In as little as 6 weeks, you'll have soil capable of boosting your vegetables' growth by 30 to 40% without relying on store-bought fertilizers. Understand companion planting the way wartime farmers did. In the desperation of war, farmers discovered that certain plants thrived together and protected each other from pests and disease. Carrots and onions, for example, were commonly planted side by side because the onion's scent repelled carrot flies. Beans and corn often shared beds. The corn provided structural support while the beans replenished soil nitrogen. Survivalists today can apply this by planning beds where crops naturally complement each other. If you have a 50-square-foot patch, plant rows of corn 3 feet apart, interspersed with beans at a 2-to-1 ratio of beans to corn. The result is a self-supporting mini-ecosystem that increases yield while reducing pest damage without chemical sprays. Rely on seed-saving techniques that ensured survival during shortages. One of the less glamorous but most vital skills of wartime farmers was seed saving. When every seed counted, people learned to select the healthiest plants for harvest and store the seeds properly through the winter. Drying seeds in paper envelopes and storing them in cool, dark spaces ensured they remained viable for the next planting season. For modern survivalists, this is an indispensable skill. Let's say you grow tomatoes. Save seeds from the largest, healthiest fruits. Dry them for 7 to 10 days and store them in an airtight container in your root cellar. You'll have a ready supply for next year, completely independent of stores. This is the foundation of self-reliance. Implement wartime irrigation hacks when water is scarce. World War II farmers didn't always have pumps or sprinklers. They improvised. One method involved creating shallow, narrow trenches between rows of crops to channel rainwater efficiently and reduce evaporation. Another trick was mulching heavily with straw or leaves to retain moisture. A survivalist today can replicate this by digging trenches 1 foot deep along long rows and adding a 4-inch layer of organic mulch on top. If you have 100 feet of garden, this can reduce water use by 40% while keeping soil temperatures stable, even in peak summer heat. Consider small-scale livestock integration for maximum output. If you have the space, World War II homesteads often use chickens or rabbits not only for meat and eggs, but also to fertilize the soil. Allowing chickens to scratch in the garden after harvest or keeping rabbits in pens above nutrient-rich bedding that could later be spread onto fields gave a dual benefit: animal products and soil improvement. A practical application would be raising 6 to 8 chickens in a 200 square foot area. Collect their manure weekly, mix it with compost at a 1:3 ratio of manure to compost, and use it to enrich your garden beds. The result is higher productivity with minimal additional effort. Mastering these forgotten World War II farming tricks isn't just an academic exercise. It's a lifeline. Each method has been tested under conditions of extreme scarcity, and when applied today, they can make any survivalist homestead more resilient, productive, and independent from commercial systems. If you found these strategies valuable, hit that subscribe button and share this video with your fellow survivalists. There are more hidden wartime secrets to uncover, and the final siren is the place to make sure you stay equipped, informed, and ready for whatever comes next. Your garden, your survival, and your future depend on it.